Welcome back everyone to Ron-Rhum-Rum cation. I hope you enjoyed my last video on rum agricole, and we're going to stick today with the theme of talking about a brand that uses fresh sugarcane juice. We're going to take another trip back to the land of cachaça. I would like to first start off by saying thank you to Avua for providing me with the balsamo that I requested. And also thank you so much, Evie, for delivering it to me personally. In case you all missed out on my first cachaça video, I'll give you a little mini overview. So cachaça is the spirit of Brazil. It can only be produced in Brazil from fresh pressed sugarcane juice to classify as cachaça. It can only be distilled up to 54% ABV. And it can only be bottled between 38 and 48%. Cachaça can also only be distilled one time. Artisanal cachaças tend to be copper pot distilled. However, industrial cachaças tend to be column distilled. So cachaça has a unique history of aging in French oak along with a variety of indigenous woods. So that was our mini review on the spirit category cachaça. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button to keep following up on all sugarcane distillates. Now let's do a little background history on the brand Avua. So Avua was founded by 3 friends, and it loosely translates to fly in the Portuguese dialect. It stems from the branding of the 1950s Pan Am flight to Rio during the Bossa Nova movement. It involved students, musicians, artists who came together in Rio to create a new sound. This was based off of traditional Brazilian music, American jazz, and a new style of Portuguese lyrics. The distiller, Katia Santos, oversees a sustainable distillation process which involves sugarcane grown without pesticides, hand-harvested at her farm, Fazenda da Quinta, in the state of Rio de Janeiro. The cane is crushed by a spring-fed water wheel, fermented with wild yeast. The farm has been in Katia's family since 1923. Normally in Brazil, the business is passed down from father to son, but from what I've read, apparently her father thought she would be better at this profession than her brothers. So with aged cachaças, at least 50% of the cachaça had to have been aged for at least a year. That leads us into talking about Avua Balsamo. So Avua Balsamo is aged in balsamo wood. So one thing I really love, again, I've said it before in my previous videos, I love when different bottles have a little mini description for the consumer. So as it says here, single source from the hills of Carmo, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Handcrafted and aged for over 1 year in balsamo wood casks, 40% ABV. And Avua carries a various amount of expressions. Actually have a cocktail at the bar I was working at before the coronavirus and the social distancing took place, Le Boudoir. So I have a cocktail with Avua using their Ambruana expression. So it's a stirred tequila Ambruana cocktail with Grand Marnier, some saline, and a little bit of absinthe, using the Ambruana that gave a lot of spice notes and almost like a caramelized sugar quality. So this time around, I really wanted to dive into balsamo. I was lucky enough to attend one of Evie's tasting seminars, but balsamo really stood out to me because I got so much anise flavor from it, very herbaceous. And the first thing I thought with the balsamo was this would be really great to do like a Sazerac riff with it. Still has that fresh grassy funk to it. So on the label it says El Balsamo has been aged up to 2 years in balsamo wood. The balsamo is a burgundy colored hardwood. This is the 4th expression in Avua's series. Now it's time to taste this beauty. My little tasting glass. Let's give it a nose. I get like anise, some mintiness. It's like super herbaceous, but it's still really lively. Has fresh like grassiness to it. Yeah, I always think just like absinthe with this, like plays really nice with absinthe. Has like a bitterness to it and some astringency, but I like that layer of bitterness. It just adds a little more of that complexity. Also minerality. I'm getting more of that mint, like licorice. So one fun fact during my research, there's a term in Brazil called tabelina. This refers to two friendly players kicking the soccer ball back and forth. This term was given to doing cachaça and beer pairings. So cachaça and beer pairings are really popular in Brazil, which is something I didn't know. So that's one of these benefits of doing these videos. I learn something new every day. Yeah, for them it's like this back and forth of sipping between their cachaça and their beer. I don't have any beer in-house right now, but if I did, I feel like this would probably pair with a really like fun, hoppy IPA maybe. It's something I definitely want to look into. I have a friend who's working at a beer shop right now. Shout out to my friend Ron-Rhum-Rum working at Beer Run in times of Corona. I'll be calling you for some beer. Yeah. It's really nice. I love that it's very smooth. So I'm really excited to show you the cocktail I've decided to make with Avua Balsamo. Let's move on to the kitchen. I really thought about it, and I really wanted to make a cocktail that would highlight and play on those herbaceous notes and all that flavor that just reminds me of absinthe. So I kept like picking through my brain, and I started looking in tropical cocktails, and I found one called Dr. Wong. So Dr. Wong is a blended cocktail with lime juice, a tonga mix, which is a mixture of grenadine and passion fruit. There's also light rum and a little bit of absinthe in that cocktail. It was a pretty simple cocktail in the sense like there was a lot of room to still play with, and I had various ingredients at home that would work well with what I wanted to do. I took to Instagram and I posed the question, what would you like me to do with balsamo? And I got a couple really good answers, especially ones that were kind of headed in the direction that I was thinking of from the get-go. So one of them was to make something not a classic and that was really funky and interesting. And then another one was to make a tiki cocktail. So let's get to it. So for this cocktail, I have my glass filled with some crushed ice. Instead of doing lime juice in the original Dr. Wong cocktail, I'm gonna do 3/4 mango acid. Cocktail's gonna be more on the tart side. The traditional tonga mix that I found, which was grenadine and passion fruit juice, I used Palma liqueur. I did 2 parts Palma liqueur with 1 part papaya juice. So that was 1 ounce of my special Linda mix. 1/2 ounce ginger syrup. The way I do my ginger syrup is 2 parts sugar to 1 part fresh ginger juice. And now I'm gonna do 2 ounces and 1/4 of the balsamo. Definitely a lot more than the 1 ounce of white rum that the original recipe. We can't get enough avua. I have some dehydrated mangoes. Now we're gonna shake it with just a little handful of pebble ice. Throw a little in here. Now we're gonna shake. Pour it right over our ice. Look at how nice that looks. So now to play on those anise notes, I have some chia seeds that have been sitting in some absinthe. See? Kind of just mix it in there. A teaspoon of those chia seeds, more crushed ice, straw. Put in our dehydrated mangoes that I dehydrated with a little bit of coconut oil brushed onto them. Now I'm going to sprinkle a little allspice. Variation on the Dr. Wong. I decided to call this one Doctor in the House. Hope you enjoyed my video. Come back next week for some more.